How's everybody doing? I'm Beth Demke with the North Dakota STEM ecosystem. My paying job is the executive director of Gateway to Science, which is a hands-on science center in Bismarck, North Dakota. From the ecosystem perspective, we're in kind of in the middle, sort of toward the end of an asset mapping project, trying to get a handle on all of the STEM assets across our state. Which has been a more arduous project than I expected it to be. I'm a little disappointed in the consultant that we had to hire, but that's the way that goes, and we're going to make it work. I'm hoping to get an actual map out of them. That took a little time to get, to explain to them that that was the ultimate goal. From the Science Center perspective, we had some really excellent news coming out of our legislative session. Our legislature meets every 2 years, and they gave us a nice amount of money to help secure a new building for the Science Center. So we are going to get back into construction after being paused during the pandemic. So I'm going to be running a brand new Science Center in about a year. So it's pretty exciting.
That is really exciting. What are you looking forward to the most about a new building?
The number and different ages of kids that we can serve. Right now we're in 2,500 square feet of exhibit space, and the new place will be 5 times that big for exhibits. And then we've got classroom space and a lab, and we'll just be able to serve so many more and in a better way. So that's what excites me. There's a whole lot that excites me, but that in particular.
Yeah, the space. Wow, that's even the classroom space. You can use it, for even teacher workshops or even ecosystem gatherings and connect, just ways to connect. That's exciting.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Rachel, do you want to say hello and share what's kind of going on in your neck of the woods?
Hi, everyone. Rachel from Science Action Club, which is a program out of the California Academy of Sciences, which is a museum in San Francisco. And that is not a rural environment, but Science Action Club works with programs and partners all across the country, about half of which are in rural communities. And I'm thinking ahead on how to partner with and support folks in that area. One cool thing I've been musing over, me and my manager, is part of our annual evaluative work that we do with Science Action Club, where we say, how did educators do in our program? How did students do in our program? We added on a new project to that work this year about what's going on after the pandemic. What is Science Action Club's role moving forward, and what's the greatest needs moving forward? So there was a lot of conversation in that report about the digital divide and how that was such a challenge this year for families, and what programs like Science Action Club can do in the future. Because we're a citizen science program, so we work with apps. We need at least one device for club settings to work together. How do we do that with programs that might have intermittent access, might have challenges both at their program but also at home to kind of extend that learning? So that's one thing I've been musing about. And if anybody has any resources or thoughts on that from their own work and their own community, I'd love to have a conversation here or offline about that. So that's one thing that's top of mind amongst many other exciting projects. I'm looking forward to this year because a lot of programs seem to have more funding and more capacity to bring in enrichment programs, to bring in science learning and bridge that STEM learning gap. So I am hopeful and excited for this coming school year and this summertime. Thank you for organizing, Kelly, and I'll pass it back to you.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I was kind of pondering about that the other day do you feel like people are even a little bit more enthusiastic about what they can do now after this long period of, man, we're just kind of stuck? I'm wondering if there's this revived energy of you've had a long time to look at your space without people or look at your program without the normal interactions. I personally feel a little more rejuvenated about the changes to make improvements and then new ways to get creative. So I'm excited about that as well. So that's exciting, Rachel. the other thing is the conversation about the digital divide. I mean, Arizona, we have problems with even water versus, just internet. So I think there's been some really, heartfelt conversations about, let's make sure everybody has running water. We live in the United States. It's a pretty big challenge. So excellent. Thanks for being here, and you're welcome. All I do is send out the invite. You guys keep coming. So it's Jeannie, right? That's how you pronounce it?
Yes. I'm Jeannie Gogalski. I'm in Columbus, Ohio, and Education Projects is a consulting business, but we've been working on some with some folks around the country and their rural audiences, and in particular agriculture. And Beth and I were actually in the same room. Thanks to this group and thanks to being introduced to Beth, we did a Ag Biotech Academy in Fargo, North Dakota. And Beth brought her colleagues down, and it was so much fun to meet her in person and talk about the possibilities in North Dakota. So, because we have some funders there, we have some agriculture groups that are interested in working there. So it's great when particularly this group made that possible. So congratulations. Thanks for pulling us together. Kelly, we are so excited. And here in Ohio, where I work, we also received a grant from the USDA, NIFA, USDA, to work with rural audiences in northeastern Ohio. Wait a minute, northwestern Ohio. I have to think about Ohio. Northwestern Ohio and southeastern Ohio, where there is a lot of agriculture and there are lots of rural schools. So you all, I'm going to be kind of reaching out to some of you all about best practices in that area. And I've been reading this great book, The Power of Place, to kind of consider rural audiences. And I don't know how many of you know Battelle or the Ohio STEM Learning Network, but they're the organizations that we're partnering with. You mentioned, broadband and accessibility, and rural in particular is a challenge. And even though we have Cleveland and Columbus and Cincinnati, we also have half of Ohio's landmass is in agriculture. So it's a great challenge, and it was fun to be with Beth. I really enjoyed meeting her. It was fun. We had a great time. So thank you, Kelly, for pulling this group together and facilitating that. And if there are other people who want to partner, we do have some connections to national corn growers and national soybean folks that are interested in supporting rural science teachers. So that's my little speech.
Anytime you say support teachers, like that kind of perks everybody up, like, ooh, that's creative. So you're welcome. And, I appreciate everybody always kind of thanking me. It's really this, I don't even know what prompted us to do the rural ecosystem convening, but it's been nice just to kind of touch base after. So thanks for being here. Joseph, are you there? Would you like to share any highlights or what's going on in your part of the world?
Hey there. So I'm a limited internet here in rural Southeast Arizona, so I don't have quite enough bandwidth for a motion picture on, but do have room for audio. So yeah, Joseph Sepp Spritzma. I work with University of Arizona Cooperative Extension, but I am involved with the Bisbee Science Lab and its parent 501c3, which is the Bisbee Engineering Science Research Center. And I got connected to all of this through the National Science Foundation grant called RAIN, the Rural Activation Innovation Network, which is wrapping up here in July and August. It was actually a kind of a social network research grant to see how social networks develop through informal STEM communities in schools and libraries and public groups. But it was kind of fun because we got to give out a bunch of STEM grants to maker spaces and to state parks and individuals, and we just get to see all of these things happening all around Cochise County now. One of the grants that we did was to the Bisbee Science Lab, and it is now, I'll put it in the chat so you can kind of take a look at it. It's up and running a mobile science lab called the STEAM Island Express, and has made contact with about 3,000 kids, which may not sound big for places like Columbus, but for Cochise County, that's a large number of youth. The STEM exhibits are actually developing created by people given grants to do interactive STEM exhibits that may live in Cochise County or Pima County or from U of A or ASU or wherever. So they're kind of interesting exhibits. The last one was on bones and muscles and tendons and kind of mammal biology. And the next one is on agrovoltaics. But I'll put that link in the chat, and just glad to connect up with you guys. And it's really inspiring to hear what's happening around other places in the country.
And like any good teacher, I was a teacher, you know, take it, make your own. So I'm excited to see what is going on in the science lab. You guys are doing great things down there. So thanks for being here, Joseph. What about Mike? Are you there?
I am, sorry about that. So I'm in the Remake Learning Network in Southwestern Pennsylvania, but my day job is running college and high school from the University of Pittsburgh, dual enrollment program. About half of the schools that we work with are rural. The whole middle of Pennsylvania is rural. And so we're just looking, you know, wrapping up a year of crazy adjustments and planning ahead to see how much back to normal we will be for next year.
Oh, the new normal. That's also another discussion. What does that look like? I've heard so many individuals that do not want to go back to the same, you know, every day doing the same thing. And I think that's a great way to look back, you know, as I said earlier, how do you change it? How do you make it fresh and exciting? I just posted in the chat if you wanted to add, I just kind of copy pasted everybody's contact. So if you want to go in there and update anything that I didn't know, maybe where you were located, or if you're affiliated with a certain ecosystem, or if not, that's fine. You can just fill that little contact sheet out. That'd be great. And then everybody has access to everybody's information. I'll send it in the follow-up too, because I think the invite may have ended and I didn't realize that until Beth, you emailed me yesterday, like, oh, maybe I need to send that back out on the calendar. But hopefully our group will continue to grow. All right, Bobby, what about you? Welcome. All right, Bobby might be busy. What about Sadie?
Good morning, everyone. Excited to be here. So I work for the National Math and Science Initiative, and we do work all around the country. So we're in large urban areas, but over the past couple of years have really dove deep into a lot of rural areas. We do a lot of work in North Dakota, a lot of work in rural areas in New Mexico. And one exciting thing we've started working on over the past couple of years and really doubled down this past year is working with partners to really try to bring professional development, AP opportunities to our rural school districts. So we've found there have been really unique opportunities to take advantage of with the pandemic to bring teachers virtually to rural areas to provide really robust opportunities, especially in the AP space, to students that wouldn't have those opportunities otherwise. Because if you're in a rural school and you only have 1 or 2 students, a district might not invest in an AP course or teacher for those students. So we're really trying to find creative ways to move the needle and provide opportunities for all students, regardless of their place.
So with that, are you saying that you were able to, because now we could do the AP virtually, they could take the course and then take the test in a location, or were they able to take it online, the test at the end for the credits?
So they are, this past year, I believe they were able to take the course online. What we really work towards is providing students not only the courses, but we partner with organizations if the schools don't have a teacher to provide a teacher virtually. And then in-house, we provide mentors and coaches to those students as they're working through the courses. So
that's awesome. I know there's a lot of opportunity there to really consider. Here in Arizona, I know that it's really a crazy number. There's only like 150 qualified physics teachers. And so that shortage is probably, all over the country. So I'm curious how we could maybe create some sort of teacher network. I'm sure they exist, but imagine that opportunity to kind of inspire them to connect kind of like we have. That might be kind of interesting to consider. Something on my brainstorm list. Well, thank you for being
Absolutely.
here, Sadie. All right, what about Emily?
Hey everyone, my name is Emily. I'm from Traverse City, Michigan. I work with Newton's Road. We're a nonprofit dedicated to STEM related learning for all youth in our 5-county region up here. We're kind of a hub for STEM resources in the area. We have some cool resources on our website, including our career investigator, which is for middle to high schoolers. And it shows different careers in the area that are STEM related, those career pathways to get to those careers, and then local organizations, businesses in the area that support those careers. And then we were just awarded a grant to put STEM kits in a bunch of our libraries in the 5 counties that we serve. So we're now in 20 libraries with those STEM kits. And so now we're trying to reach out to a bunch of different organizations and see how else we can better serve the area.
Excellent. Thank you. Go Michigan. All right. What about Jackie? Are you on the line?
Hi, yes, I am. This is the first Real Ecosystems convening I've joined, so thank you all for letting me join. My name is Jackie Reed, and I am the Vice President of Computer Science at MindSpark Learning. And MindSpark, we invest in STEM education. We're a nonprofit. We're a national nonprofit, so we try to help schools build robust STEM ecosystems within schools and districts. And really one of my main goals is reaching more rural areas. And that's one of the projects I'm really focusing on this next year. So I really appreciate being a part of this call. I was looking to access the chat. I'm joining on my phone and it's in safe driving mode, so I can't access the chat to that link you had posted. But I was really hoping to get access to that. Would you be sending that out via email possibly?
I will. Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much.
So the really cool part, I was typing in the chat and then I deleted it since you said that, that I would love to connect because we were funded for, it was originally called the K-8 Consortium for Computer Science in Arizona. And now it's actually, we've changed the name to AZ Hacks, which is Arizona Hubs Advancing Computer Science and Computational Thinking, but we didn't add all those letters. But I would love to connect with you as well. So I'll follow up. I'm assuming you must have been on the invite. So
yes, I was.
Okay.
And I'll see it. I think the invite, I was just trying to look in my email to pop it up on my computer, but it was like having me register for it again
Perfect.
to get the link. But yeah, I am on there. My email to Jackie@mindspark.org. I would love to connect. And I really appreciate being part of this call and hope to join the future sessions just to learn more about reaching these rural students and communities.
Excellent. Yeah. I will definitely follow up and make sure you get the list. So excellent. I think Amanda from my team is the only other person besides maybe Bobby. I don't know if Bobby, if you're back. No. Okay. Let's go. Amanda, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Amanda. I am with SciTech Institute. I am a part of the ecosystem, and we're creating our ecosystem hubs and essentially creating resources within each hub and really getting people connected and networking from different parts of the hub. So not only STEM related things, but also businesses and colleges and schools, but getting them all together and networking. But my focus is educational outreach. And I'm so excited to hear all of your guys's things that you guys are doing in your areas. the Bisbee Mobile Science Lab, which sounds amazing. I would love to see what that even looks like. And then I reached out to Sadie privately in the messages, and I would love to see her work with preschool teachers as our ecosystem hubs. One of our mini projects is working with preschool teachers to really get them involved in STEM education as well, because our preschoolers, they can do it as well. So reaching out to some of you guys about these different things. So it's awesome. Yes, Joseph, I would love to. Another field trip.
I just took her up to Cottonwood, Joseph, so we'll head down to Cochise next. So excellent. Well, it's almost, look at that, we're even in like our 30-minute time. We had discussed about adding this a little bit longer so people had more time to communicate, but I think we had a chance to introduce and share enough this morning. I'm going to go check on the links. Unfortunately, we had our Zoom kind of turned off, turned back on. So I think that's why it made you re-register. But I'll send out the video and the links and everything so that people can, see that we're still connecting, and then hopefully plan another session where we can do a little bit more workshopping when we come. Maybe, next month when we come, we really kind of go over what is asset mapping, and then provide an opportunity if people want to do some training, or maybe we do some student voice highlights, kind of spin-offs from our rural ecosystem convening that we did just for ourselves online. So I'm really hopeful. I don't know, Beth, have you heard anything? Are we for real going back in person for ecosystems in the spring?
We are. I was just on a call with the advisory council earlier this week, and meeting in Detroit in the spring of 2022. And they're talking about a virtual workshop or some sort of convening for what they're calling ecospheres. And I don't know what those look like. I assume rural will be one of them, and maybe some other topical types of ecospheres. And those will be virtual sometime in the fall, October into November. Because I think there's going to be some overlap. So like I might be interested in rural, but also statewide or Midwest, or Lord knows what the other options might be. It'll be interesting to see how they all come together. And yes, the question is the convening through TIES. Yes, TIES is the one, is the organizing entity on these. That I was on a call with them. So I'm part of the STEM Learning Ecosystem Community of Practice Advisory Council. So,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
so we had put together an entire process of developing a new way of doing things, and then the pandemic kind of slapped us in the face. So we're kind of going back to square one and trying to decide what to do differently. So
well,
yes, in person in the spring, virtual this fall.
That's exciting. I think it was just a highlight, 2 times a year getting to see, kind of like Jeannie expressed. It's really nice to connect, but then to meet each other in person, maybe have a cup of coffee and talk about other stuff, and then get into the work. There's just something really invigorating that I think we all realized we missed over the pandemic. So that's good news. All right, well, Detroit, here we come.
Absolutely.
All right, well, thank you everybody for jumping on the call and sharing what's going on in your area. Like I said, I'll share out the details. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And as you know, I'm a huge, my veteran service. So please enjoy the 4th of July safely, but really celebrate your freedom. So thanks for being on the call, and go rural.
Thanks. Bye.
Happy 4th of July, everybody.
Happy 4th.